Y'all, oh my word, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. How are you doing today, honey? Come here, give me a hug. So to my right back here, and I'm not going to step over there because if I do, I'm going to smell like a buck in rut, which is explaining why I actually have curled hair at the moment and a little bit of makeup on. And because after I've worked outside and in the house and doing all the things I've done today, I went, woo, you smell like a buck in rut, girl. You better go do something about, listen, you better go do something about that. And if you don't know what I mean, once you smell it, you ain't ever gonna get away from it. So anyway, so welcome back to the channel. This is really tempting because here's the deal. One of my best and favorite does, Miss Katniss, I raised her as a bottle baby and she's just awesome. And apparently she's very inviting to Mr. Rip, who is my buck. He's my Nubian buck, registered Nubian buck. And they're, you know, loving each other through the fence. Now, she's still staying sideways, y'all. You know how things can, you know what I'm saying? Things can still happen. Hey, listen, I'm all about keeping things separate to, you know, because I really don't want to have little goat kids in the middle of January into February, especially after what the persimmons have said and the Farmer's Almanac and everything else in between. But if the Lord wants it to happen, it's going to happen. But he is honey, he is sweet talking her. You know how they do all that. They do. They do all that. And she's sitting there like, yeah, talk to me. How you been? What you been doing? You know, so anyway, we're going to see how this goes. Boy, that's tempting though, because she's such a good mama and a good milker. So let's pray on that. But how are you doing? You doing okay on this Wednesday? I know, the insanity continues. It's just, I made a protein shake. I just was like, okay, whatever. I mean, it's just like you get to the point where you're like, I have to get up and get up and go and get up and be. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because this is really important, and it kind of piggybacks onto a lot of things that we're talking about. In the middle of this conversation, you know, the Fed's just cut rates. I mean, 25 basis points, whoopty. But, I mean, is that really going to help y'all out there? And I'm sure people are flipping out, talking about the inflation returning. I mean, folks, you have to be mentally, physically, financially, spiritually prepared for anything these days. And that's been the focus of the channel, as you know, for many years. I want you to continue to focus on the things. This is a time that we sort of calibrate ourselves. That's where I'm at. And I'm talking about it because I think a lot of you are feeling that as well. Some of you just sort of woke up in the last week. It doesn't matter when you woke up as long as you did, but you better get busy. I always really, really, really want to encourage you to do the best you can to have yourself in the best position should anything happen at all, okay? Whether it be a financial crisis, which a lot of us could argue that we are basically in one and have been in one. I mean, who are we kidding? Do the best that you can to have your job, keep your job, pay off as much debt. I mean, you know, here's the thing. When we really started hammering in on the debt crisis on this channel, which is not a new conversation, you know, I was a follower of Dave Ramsey starting back in 2005 as far as putting his plan to action. James and I used to listen to Dave Ramsey when we lived in Nashville in 1998. We lived in Donaldson, and we would drive back and forth to Cookeville to go to Tennessee Tech. If you are familiar with the area, you know that's like an hour drive or so. We would drive to school, drive back, and I was doing my singing, and I was working as a vet tech assistant, and then James was working, and we would listen to Dave Ramsey. So when we were first married, and a young couple, we were big into Dave Ramsey. You may not particularly like everything that Dave Ramsey says or does, but his financial get out of debt plan is a pretty doggone good one. And that method I have applied, and we started, you go forward and you go back, you go forward and you go back. And we were able to pull ourselves completely out of debt, with the exception of basically our home or property. And we've basically been able, we're debt free completely. And it took a long time, and it took a lot of giving a lot of things up, and it took a lot of grit. So I want to continue to tell you that whatever you can to pay things off and keep them off of your debt list, please continue to do so. Okay, I understand not everybody can pay off their house or their car today. I get that. I understand. But do the best you can with really looking at where you're at. In addition to that, I want to say this real quick, because I think this is ultimately really good with preparedness of what I'm going to talk about today. I just got this in the mail. I literally just opened the box about 30 minutes ago. I ordered this yesterday by Miss Priscilla Schreier. It's going to be my new devotional book. I'm really looking forward to, do you follow her? She's awesome. She says so many powerful things. So this is called Preparing to Hear from God. And I'm going to be starting this hopefully tomorrow or into the weekend as my new study book for several weeks. So that's going to be really, really good. I'll put a link down below. You can get it on Amazon. I know it's really popular in a lot of women church groups too as well. Really, really, really high marks on it. So I'm excited. So I just went ahead and bought my own, and we're going to go forth with that. So there that is right there. Really important that you ladies and gals out there, guys too, okay, gentlemen, that you get into the word and focus, because like I said, when we're calibrating ourselves with this whole situation that we're in this world, as far as preparedness, it's really easy to get sucked into, well, you're just a doomsdayer. Well, I mean, I think that's yes and no. I think the questions need to be, if you're trying to figure out, are you addicted to doom, or are you in reality? And then how are you dealing with that, and how are you finding your balance, is really more of the key question. To talk about the things that we've seen just alone over the last week, from a week ago today, I think is a lot of doom and gloom, right? But at the same time, you're seeing a lot of reality. When I talk about spiritual warfare or demonic forces and the things that you are seeing, because when people celebrate the death of another human being in the manner in which we've seen many people do over the last week, that is sick and demonic. You don't have to agree with somebody. You don't even have to like somebody. But when you take it to a level where you will mock them dying, wish them death, or take up for that in terms of freedom of speech, sure, you have the freedom to say whatever you want, but you also have the freedom to be stupid and face the consequences too. Because there really should be a moral standard with behavior, regardless of who you are, where you are. You don't have to take up for Charlie Kirk to go, look, he wasn't my dude, okay? Wasn't my dude. And, I'm not going to get into the minutia, but I'm not going to sit there and mock that, because you know what, even if I don't believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior, I might believe in a little thing called karma. A lot of people say karma. I better not put that out in the atmosphere. There's just a level of decency that some people are just absolutely struggling to meet. And it's sad to see them justify it under the terms of freedom of speech. That's some tough stuff right there. It really, really is. But remember, Charlie Kirk was not your senator, was not your president, was not your mama. He only has 2 children that I know of. So my point is, he had the right to say what he wanted to say and how he felt, regardless of whether or not you agree with it or not, or better than that, let me just go a step further. I've been a victim of this several times by other YouTube channels and by certain media. They will take something that I've said and they will slice it and dice it and make it sound like I said something else. I actually kind of clapped back at one particular channel about a year and a half ago that did that. And literally just took my video. You could watch my video that's still up on my channel and then go watch what this person did, and it's not even one of the same. And then they tried to say the picture that they painted, the little clips that they did, they were again trying to say that's who I was and what I was trying to say, when they totally misrepresented. They conveniently cut the conversation completely off, frankly, and only did one little section. and then said, I believe this, or I said that, or whatever. It's a lie. So, I really want to urge people, and, I can be guilty of this too, because we see where social media twists things and takes things out of context on purpose to deceive you. So, don't look like a fool out there. If you can't really speak to what it actually says, and I'm not saying that we're all perfect in this, I get it, we all make mistakes, but if you're not really going to listen to the full context of whatever you think was said, maybe you should hold off on having some type of an opinion, because we all know what an assumption is anyway. Assume, ask you me, yeah, that's pretty much what that boils down to. So because we're seeing all of this manipulation happen, and because we're literally feeling like we're in the middle of the matrix, the question I have for you is in terms of you trying to be a prepared person, where is your line? Because when you cross the line into addiction to doom, and it's a real thing, it is, and it's very easy to cross that line because we let our anxiety build, we let our fear build, and we may not even know that we're doing it. And I think we're all guilty of that. So I'm not out of this picture either. But I've been able to really pull myself back over the last 2 to 3 months. This is why you're seeing me do things differently. Because I realized, I am continuing to do. I understand where we're at. I've taken a lot of heat for changing my position on some things as the last 9 months and questioning things. Charlie began to question things. I think a lot of people that are bashing him should actually step back a little bit and look and see what was he doing the last couple of months. I think it's really important for people to pay attention to that. But see, they have to run with the narrative of this, and this. So they're not going to give him any ounce of credit for, was he going through a transformation? Was he asking questions? Was he pushing back? So again, do your homework, and I'll continue to try to do my best with mine as well. But are you addicted to doom? Are you addicted to the doom, which means you're watching the hate over and over and over on YouTube channels that are not representing information correctly? That's especially important. Are you addicted to watching things on Twitter? It's no different than being addicted to sugar, cigarettes, alcohol, having a, pardon me for saying this, if your child's watching, a sexual addiction of some sort. Every person has a certain capacity for being addicted to something. And so that's where I want to say to you, I want you to be preparing, and I want you to know what's going on. But when you get to the point where you can't function, like if somebody, this is what started this conversation. There's a comment from yesterday where somebody basically said, and they're not being ugly, they just say that they're so upset, they're so mad, there's all of these things that they just can't turn away from it. That's dangerous. That's not me being ugly, that's me saying, I love you, hang on a second, let's talk this out. That's dangerous. Understand what's going on in the world, but as I said yesterday, once you have an idea of what you see and what's happening in the big picture, what are you doing with that? And if you don't know what to do with that, take it to prayer, take it to God. Take the music out of your ears, turn off the music, turn off the TV, and sit in the silence of you and Jesus, and ask and pray over your own self. And ask God, what can I do today? Your prayers will be answered. It may not be lickety split, but it will come. And that's how you're going to gain self-control back. Because ultimately right now, your self-control is the number one prep. Far more than a pew-pew, training, money, gold, silver, food, a well, a chicken house, however prepped food, all of those things, they don't mean anything if you are not in check first. So I want you to evaluate, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? What can you do? Because I'm telling you right now, once you have that aha moment, which I believe a lot of you have, The second you go, okay, I'm getting this right. Everything doesn't come to you immediately, and I'm still going through this. It's like every day I push a little bit forward, and then, every now and then something tries to pull me back, and I come back, I'm like, oh, no, you're not. And I catapult myself further, and when I do, I realize there's something else I need to work on. There's something else I need to change. I mean, it may be as simple, stupid as, giving up a soda today. Whatever. Because when you bring that clarity and that cleanliness to your body and to your motives, it starts to clear your mind. And everything becomes so vivid. And that is where your sense of control comes back into play. When I say sense of control, that is giving you the ultimate self-power, empowerment to go, I see this. I know exactly what this is. I know exactly what this means. I know exactly what that person is saying. I know what the intention is. And you know what? You ain't tripping me off today. That is where I feel God is trying to right now lead, at least for me. I think a lot for you. I think this is let's get it right. I've said this and I'm going to continue to say it because I see a lot of you on the edge of it. And you're like, what is happening? Look at all the people starting to go to church again, starting to open their Bibles again. People, and like yesterday, some people were confused. I was giving the example of I'm watching people on the left. I didn't say I'm on the left, not at all. I don't claim to be a part of any political party, frankly, at this point. No way. I'm a child of God. I have conservative values. Jesus is my king. I love this country, and I'm going to do the best that I can to stand up for what's right. But some folks were confused by me giving the example of me seeing, and some of you also, people on the left saying, I don't know what's happening to me, but I can't do this. And it's not about swinging you from the left to the right. It is swinging you to what's right in general. So what is that? The first thing right now, and it's very involved. I know you don't, it sounds so simple for somebody to say, you better get your house in order, you better get yourself in check. It's simple, but once it starts, it is magnificent to see what all happens to you in a very short time period. Mentally, physically, spiritually, it's like everything changes around you. And you know what? Can I tell you something? It attracts other people that are already in that realm, maybe ahead of you, but also you're going to start noticing it's pulling other people into that same flow. It is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. The world is hungry for that. No one wants to hear people spew hate. Can you mentally handle that anymore? But see, that's what the devil is working on, that great divide. I'm not telling you not to stand up for what's right. I'm not telling you not to defend yourself. That's not what I'm talking about at all. What I'm telling you is you have the opportunity to power up and elevate yourself to be ready for when the ultimate battle comes to you. And it could come to you personally, or it could come to all of us at one time. I can't answer that question. Can't answer that question. So the question is, are you addicted to the doom and gloom? There is a difference. Preparedness does not have to be doom and gloom. Preparedness should be a lifestyle in which you are preparing yourself in all realms to handle the trials and tribulations in this world. Okay? That's very biblical, actually. You all know that. I don't have to tell you anything. So we know this, but are we walking it? And I'm trying to push. I feel like that's my thing right now. So yes, I post things that I eat and going to the gym and, me actually having a little bit of a bicep now. I know that's silly, stupid, but I feel better about myself now. I feel better now than I have felt in years, and I want you to as well. You know why? Because when you do, you say, get behind me. We're rising up together. What a force that is. I want you to be a part of that, because it's happening. Don't miss that calling. So observe things, yes. Don't open it first thing in the morning. It will ruin your day. Don't you dare be staring it down a couple of hours before you go to sleep, because then you won't sleep. So you have to find that sweet spot, if you will, or several days a week that you allow yourself to go there. Or like I've told certain people, I had to keep the TV off. If something major happens, you know how I found out? Unfortunately, how I found out, or the unfortunate situation of how Charlie Kirk was shot last week, my mother called me. I didn't have the TV on. I wasn't scrolling X and Twitter and all of these things. My mom, because people in my life are on notice. My phone is here, but I'm not looking at stuff today. I'm staying busy. I'm cleaning my house. I'm serving my husband. I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm going through my food pantry. I'm trying to be productive. I'm getting ready for winter. I'm working. I'm making sure my kids are okay. I'm sitting and doing my devotional. So if you see something major happen, yes, please call me, because you know I'm not going to be there immediately, because I don't turn on the TV, and during a lot of hours during the day, I'm not looking at social media, because I'm training myself to get what I can handle when I can handle it, because folks, we have a lot of work to do. Join in on that. I'm confident you're being called. I'm confident. And if nothing else, you have no idea how much better you're going to feel, and how much better you're going to be able to handle circumstances. And I think that's what we're supposed to be doing right now. I can't tell you what's coming. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know why. I mean, anybody can try to predict things, but people don't know. But I know we're going to have to be very strong. So ask yourself today, do you cross the line over good preparedness into addiction to doom and gloom? And if you have any other addictions as well, that's probably something else. Do you have that personality where you are addicted to you got to break them. You got to break them. You've got to make that decision today. Pray and do it. I'm praying for you. Like, subscribe, and share. I'm interested in seeing your input down below. Again, I'll put this up there. If you're interested, I'll put a link down there. If you just want to check it out, maybe down the road, if you're doing one right now, ladies, or whatever, cool. But it looks really good. So I'm really excited. I'll keep you posted on that. And I'll keep you posted if you want to know about the things that I'm eating and whatnot, because a lot of people are asking about that. Let me know that too. And also I need to update you on my dog. Yona's doing good. Yona's doing good. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. He's still over there. Find some joy today. Remember the blessings that you have. Okay? Be the light, folks. Be the light. I'll see you on the next video.